Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about the Customer Portal access rules in ClassJuggler. The Customer Portal access rules give you more control over how your customers interact with your Customer Portal. This is very useful when you have the need to limit access to specific activities such as shopping for certain classes, who can register when, who is allowed to sign up into their account, and more. A special short code is assigned to each rule to make it easy for you to share and communicate these codes with your customers via emails, texts, flyers, or etc. A customer only needs a simple code to access parts of the customer portal you have restricted. Let's go ahead and create a new account access rule. I'm going to first go to Tools from the blue main menu. And then from the purple sidebar menu, I'll click on Customer Portal Manager. From the list of settings tabs along the bottom, I'm going to click on Access Rules, and then I'm going to click Add a New Rule. We first have to create a rule ID for this access rule, so I'm going to put in New Reg for new registration. My description is Special Access for New Registrations. I'm going to go ahead and set this rule to On. And now we have to click what scope of access rule. This is a new account. And we're going to put in begin and end dates. I'm going to put in today's date. And I'm going to end it on July 31st. And then I'm going to save my changes. I'm going to return to the Customer Portal Manager. And now we can see that this is set up as our first access rule. It is on. So now that we have set up this access rule, let's go to our customer portal and see how this access rule works. Our returning customers see the same sign-in screen as usual. However, if I click on the Register Now as a new customer, I'm going to see a special screen with a message and a code field stating that only customers given the special access code can register at this time. The next access rule that I want to set up is the Portal Sign-In access rule. This rule is very similar to the one we just set up, except that access for all customer portal sign-ins are restricted without the code. So we're going to go ahead and set up this rule. I'm going to go ahead and add a new rule. This rule ID I'm going to set up as all PSI for portal sign-in. I'm going to put in my description. I'm going to click on to go ahead and turn this rule status to on. My scope will be the portal sign-in. And I'm going to put the same dates as I did for our last access rule, today's date, and then July 31st as the end date, and save my changes. Return to the Customer Portal Manager, and I see my all PSI special access for sign-ins. So now when we look at our portal sign-in, okay, now we see that this special access code is now on our page, and any returning customer is going to have this special access code to get to their portal. All right, the next access rule we're going to look at is the specific class stores rule. This rule requires a customer know an access code for shopping in specific class stores. So let's go ahead and set up this code. Again, I'm going to go to Add a New Rule action button. This code is going to be Camp 123, and it's for my summer 2019 camps. And I'm going to go ahead and set this rule to on. And this is for the specific class stores. So I'm going to click on that and put in my begin and my end dates and save. And I'm going to return to the Customer Portal Manager. Now, before we can test this access rule, we have to first link the access rule we just created to one or more of our class stores. So to do this, we need to click on our online shopping. I'm going to select my summer 2019, click on Edit. And from the Class Store Designer screen, I can now link my access rule using the Store Access rule up here at the top. I'm going to just click on my Camp 123, and then I need to save my changes. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Customer Portal, and we're going to sign back in as our test parent, David. So we're now signed into the portal. To see how our shopping codes work, we're going to go to the left menu and select Shopping, Shop for Classes. One way to quickly see that a particular class store will require a special code is if you notice the text access code required. This will let the parent know that they need a code to view and select classes from that particular store. So when we select that class store, we're shown a special access code required dialog box where we can enter the code to unlock access to the store. Once that code is entered, the class list for the store will display as usual for the customer. So let's put in the camp 123, submit, and now I see my class stores. And we have one final rule to look at, and the final type of access rule is the class shopping rule. This type of rule controls access to all class stores, and a parent would need to enter a valid code one time to gain access to any class stores. So we'll go ahead and set up this access rule. Add a new rule, and this rule ID is going to be customer all stores. My description is required to shop all stores. I will turn this rule status to on and click on the class shopping scope and put in my dates and then save my changes. I'm going to return to the Customer Portal Manager. Now we see all 4 access rules that we've set up. So let's return to the Customer Portal one final time using the same test customer. All right, so once we're logged in, we can click on the shopping, shop for classes. Immediately, we are presented with a dialog box that tells us that shopping is currently restricted and we need to provide a valid access code before we can see any class stores. So we're going to enter the code we set up right there, CSAS, submit. While we only set up single access codes and rules for our demo, you can certainly set up multiple rules that layer the scope of Customer Portal access into a single rule. You can even set up multiple rules of the same type with different dates to handle different circumstances. For example, I might set up 2 class shopping access rule codes for 2 different groups of parents, say for my competitive parents and my recreational parents. The competitive family rule may provide early access for shopping for classes, while the code for my recreational parents might only be active starting a week later to give my competitive parents early access for class registrations. Then both codes could expire on the same date, allowing all other remaining families access to the class stores.